Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. It's a wonderful day to go camping, wouldn't you say? Hello, everybody. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And you, my friends, can be a happy camper, too. It's episode 142. This is the Happy Camper Radio Show. And on the program today, we're going to be talking with our good friend, Robyn Chilson of the award-winning Meadville KOA Campground. Their 2016 season is just about ready to get underway, and they've got a lot of fun things, a lot of great activities. It's a family-oriented campground, and it's one that you and your family would definitely love to visit this season. Robyn's going to tell us all the things that are going on at the Meadville KOA here in just a couple of minutes, so stick around. It's going to be a great show. I think you're going to enjoy it. Our phone number here at Happy Camper Radio is 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and now subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've made it so convenient for you to catch up with us. Just go to www.happycamperradio.com. All of our social media icons are located on the right-hand side of the page. You can click on any one of them. Take the studio tour, see what we do behind the scenes. A lot of great, useful camping tips, all available at www.happycamperradio.com. Let me head on over to the infamous shout-out window and say hello to a few fine folks who have signed up this week on social media. Let's start by saying hello to Shin Katata, Gary Bickle of Peatone, Illinois. They like us on Facebook. And also to Ken Kylat of Los Angeles, California. He's following us on Twitter this week. Thank you also very much for joining us. Glad to have you on board, and thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Would you like to be a guest on the program? I'd love to have you here. Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and we'll make that happen. Let's go to the phone lines. I've got Robyn standing by in the shadows, and I am very excited about having her on the program today. I am so delighted to have back in the studio this week Robyn Chilson of the Meadville KOA Campground in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Robyn, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Skip. I appreciate the invite.
Well, I understand you are just about ready to get your 2016 camping season underway. How are things looking?
Oh, looking great. Reservations are coming in strong, and in fact, we're pretty much booked up for the Memorial Day holiday already, and we have some exciting new events and activities going on this year that we think campers are going to really like.
Now, I know from living in Pennsylvania many years ago, you get hit with a tremendous amount of snow, especially up in your area. So you're pretty much shut down for the wintertime. Is that correct?
Oh, that is correct. Yep, absolutely. This year we've been fortunate and had an early spring, and temperatures are in the 50s already, and we've even started doing, like limb pickup and stuff like that around the campground, getting ready to open up. The 22nd of April is our opening date.
Now, one of the things I really admire about the Meadville KOA Campground, and we had you on the program about a year ago, your campground offers so much for families, and I can understand why people want to come back to your award-winning KOA. If they go to your website, it says it all right there. You have so much to offer for family, for kids, and I can see why they would want to come back each and every year. Tell us a little bit again about what you have to offer at the Meadville KOA and why folks would want to go camping there.
Well, we have 7 ponds. One is a 2-acre lake that we paddle boat on also, and one is a 1-acre lake. And those are stocked with fish. So we have catch and release fishing with no license required, which is great for people who are out of state. They don't have to worry with buying a license, and they can teach the youngins to fish right there at the ponds with no license and no problems. We do pay the fee to the state to do that. We have to have a sport fishing license in Pennsylvania to do that. But we do offer that to our campers as a convenience to them. We have a hiking trail. We have volleyball court. We have a basketball court. We have horseshoe pits. And we also have rental amenities like paddle boats, mini golf, pedal carts, and a jumping pillow that the kids just love. And it's very affordable. It's $7 a day per person or $12 for your week-long stay to use those amenities.
I can see why folks would want to come there. You know, I try to remember back when my kids were growing up and my wife and I would take them camping. As we get older, sometimes I think we tend to forget just how, you know, rambunctious kids are. And they just, when they go camping, when they get into the outdoors, they just want to run. They just want to let all that energy out. And it's so important for kids to have things to do when they go camping. And a lot of the activities that you have at the Meadville KOA can accomplish that for families. And I can see why, you know, when people settle into a campground, they don't really venture off all too often, especially if they have a lot of things for the kids and the families to do.
That is true. Most of the campers who come here stay with us. We are a destination campground, if you will. If we were to brand in one of the brands that KOA has come out with, we'll be a holiday park when we complete that process. So what that means is that most people would come here and vacation here, spend a weekend with us, enjoying our activities and amenities, and don't normally go somewhere else. That said, there's lots of things to do in the area. We don't live too far, we're not located too far from Palmatooning State Park and Palmatooning Spillway, which is the place where the carp are so thick that the ducks walk on their back. And people go over there and feed them feed bread to the fish at the spillway. And we're not far from the Drake Well Museum and Oil Creek State Park and Oil Creek Railroad, which is a train ride down through the valley that changed the world. It was where oil was first discovered. And in addition to that, we're not far from Palmatooning State Park, which is the second most visited state park in Pennsylvania, and we're only about 45 minutes south of Presque Isle State Park, which is the number one most state visited park in Pennsylvania. So our location is also convenient for people to come here, spend a week, go visit these tourist destinations on off days, and then be with us and do our events and activities on weekends when we're hosting our themed weekends with planned activities.
Now, Robyn, I'm going to go back about 45 years, all right? That's making me feel real old, but that's okay. I am very familiar with Palmatooning State Park, and I remember my grandparents taking us camping up there when I was much younger, and we used to take loaves of bread out at the edge of the spillway there, and we would throw it in, and the carp would go crazy. And
they still do. It's still a treasured activity in this area, and in fact, they've redone that spillway and the Welcome Center there. They've now got a very nice facility there that's all brand new. It's only a couple years old, and it's a wonderful place for you to take your kids and see all those fish. And the kids just think it's funny to watch those carp go after that bread. It's a hysterical activity to do with your family.
Oh yeah, it is, and I remember I could stand there all day and feed the carp as long as I had a loaf of bread in my hand. Robyn,
oh boy, yeah.
There is one other question I've got to ask you, and I know you are in close proximity to Conneaut Lake.
Yeah, we're about 15 minutes from Conneaut Lake.
That is close. It's not very far to drive away. Is Conneaut Lake Park still open?
The answer is yes and no. The park has gone through just a terrible time. They actually had some fires and lost some of the facilities, but they are trying to reopen it this spring. They are planning to have the water park open this spring and some limited rides available.
I used to love going to Conneaut Lake Park, the Blue Streak roller coaster. I would do anything to get back on that roller coaster again.
Well, that roller coaster should be operating this summer.
Oh my heavens! I'm going to have to make a trip up there sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a treasured memory for many people, especially from the Pittsburgh area. A lot of the companies in Pittsburgh used to come up to Conneaut Lake and have their summer picnics up there and spend a weekend up there at the park with the kids, riding rides and doing things in that area.
And Pittsburgh is where I'm from, and that's where I grew up.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've been living here in the South about 30 years now.
Well,
Pittsburgh is still a little drive away from Atlanta.
yeah,
But
a little bit.
I know where it is. And, of course, once I'm in Pittsburgh, I know where the Meadville KOA campground is. You're right along I-79. Or is it I-79? Go straight up?
We're right along. We are actually east of 79, and Conneaut Lake is west of 79.
Okay. All right. Now, tell us about the 2016 annual car show and vintage RV rally you've got coming up in June.
Well, we are just so excited. We hosted the Tin Can Tours back a few years ago when they came out down and across Route 6 across Pennsylvania, and we worked with the Route 6, Tour Route 6 Visitors Bureau to host them here at Meadville KOA. And we were just honored to do that and loved seeing the vintage RVs. They are just terrific to see and to get to look inside of. And so my husband and I decided that what we would like to do is get an annual rally going at our campground each year. And so this year, for the first time, we are endeavoring to try to put together a vintage RV show, and we're doing it in conjunction with our car show. Many of the people who own vintage RVs tow them with vintage vehicles. We already did the car show, so we thought, boy, that would be a perfect fit. They could come camp, participate in the car show, and then show their RV in the afternoon. And so that's what we're doing, and that's going to be June 3rd and 4th this summer. And we have a web page dedicated to it as well, and you can go on there and see all the cool cars. And when we have RVs, we'll have RVs added to it. But that's coming up. We have a really fun activity. We do a cardboard boat regatta across our lake that we paddle boat on.
Wow.
And we have a set of rules and materials that they can use. We provide the duct tape, and we do this duct tape race. We have a couple of different categories. We have an adult category for a single adult. We have a teen category that 2 teens can paddle. And then we have a family category where 1 adult and 1 child can paddle. And that's just a really fun event. They have to engineer and build their own cardboard boat, and then they have to race it across the lake. And that is July 23rd, and that's just a hoot to watch and a hoot to, if you're not going to participate in it, it's as much fun to watch as it is to be in. But we always have a great competition and a lot of fun watching the kids build boats out of cardboard and then try to make it across the lake with them.
That is so cool. You know, I was looking at some of the photographs of your previous car show that you had up there, and some of the vintage autos. Wow. You know, it makes me really want to continue restoring my grandfather's 1980 Chevy Impala, which I have.
Wonderful.
And
That's wonderful.
It is sitting in my garage. It goes out on a rare occasion, and it has, believe it or not, 88,000 miles on it for a 1980.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
well, it's hard to believe some of those vehicles that those guys bring in here. I mean, the things that they do to them and the way they look, and they're just spotless. You know, you can eat off the floor mats of them. It's just phenomenal, and you can see how much work and how much love and how much dedication goes into those cars. And that's a fun weekend. We have the cars come in at 11 and register, and then we serve some hot dogs. We grill hot dogs, and we sell hot dogs and pop and chips for lunch. And then the campers come down and do the judging at 1 o'clock, from 1 to 3. And then at 3 we tally up the counts, and we hand out the trophies and door prizes. And it's just a whole lot of fun for the campers and the fellas that bring their cars alike. And it's a fun event to do each year. And then we just thought adding the RV rally to it at 3:30 up in the campground would be just the icing on the cake if people could go up there and see vintage RVs at the same time. And we have 4 or 5 already registered for the show, so I think it'll be a success. And as we get that word out more and get more people that are aware that there's going to be a vintage RV show in this area, the better attended it'll be.
Now, many of our listeners are travelers, and they do get around and they do visit different states. How many sites do you have available at the Meadville KOA campground?
Well, we have 160 sites. We're a 160 site campground. Now, about 70 of those are seasonal sites that are occupied by people that are here all summer long. And seasonal camping is one of those things that is really nice. You know, traveling around and visiting other campgrounds is nice. I think there comes a time when you get to a certain age, or you know, your kids are so busy doing activities at school that your camping suffers because of your kids' schedules. And so lots of campers find that parking that RV at a campground for this whole summer just makes their lives very convenient. It's a turnkey process. So Friday night after the football game, they can get in the car, drive to the campground, unlock the door, go in, and sleep in their RV that's already set up, already hooked up, all ready to go, and spend the weekend camping, lock it back up Sunday, and go home and back to their schedules so they can get a weekend of recreation in amongst the children's very, very busy schedules.
And that is a home away from home for sure.
It is, and it's a great way to get more use out of your RV. Most of the campers we have here that are seasonal campers camp with us many, many, many weekends a summer that they wouldn't normally get to go if they had to go home, pack it, hook it up, tow it, unhook it, set it up, camp, tear it down, hook it back up, and tow it back home and unload it again. All of that work that goes into that it's a huge time sucker. You know, it sucks up your time and energy to do all that work to get ready to go camp. And if it's all set up on the campsite ready to go, you literally have to throw some food in a cooler and take off and go to camp.
Yeah.
And that's the basis of getting to use your RV a whole lot more all season long if you're parked at a nearby park that you can get to in a relatively short amount of time, enjoy your weekend, and get back home.
Yeah, now camping is about being in the outdoors, and I don't think I would have it any other way, and I don't think you would either. But campers do have some concerns about Lyme disease. Is it something you're experiencing up there as we have down here? Yeah,
absolutely. In fact, Lyme disease, whether people know it or not, is an issue across the United States. It's not just in the Northeast. There are ticks in Texas. There are ticks in Colorado. There are ticks in California. There are ticks in Washington and Oregon. There are ticks in the Northeast, and there are ticks all over the United States.
And let's not forget about Georgia, too.
Oh, yes, and Georgia. Well, of course not. But I'm just saying, you know, people have a tendency to believe that ticks are only in Maine or Connecticut where the disease was first discovered. That's not the case. It is a problem across our country, and it's one of those things that really doesn't get talked about a lot for campers, and that they need to be aware of. It's like mosquitoes. You have to be prepared to protect yourself. You need to have sprays that will repel ticks. You need to check yourself, your person, even if you're a hiker or a fisherman, and you're not out camping. You're going to walk through some high grass to get to a pond or a stream or a river, or you're on a hike and you're going to hike out through this field and up the hiking trail. Well, that trip through that field where that high grass is where ticks live and where you're most likely to pick one up. And if you're not checking yourself after you're outdoors, whether you're gardening, mowing your yard, you can pick ticks up anywhere. You can pick them up in your own dooryard when you're outside working and mowing, tending your tomatoes in your garden. So when you go inside, make sure that you strip your clothes off. Make sure that you change your clothes, check yourself for ticks, and just do some proper hygiene and checks to make sure that you're not, going home with something that you didn't want to take home with you.
And that's why it's so important that when you go camping, when you go hiking, I don't care where you're at in the outdoors, it always pays to get yourself a can of insect repellent that has DEET.
Yep, absolutely.
That is the key right there. If you're going to spend a lot of time in the outdoors, you'd want to make sure that you protect yourself. It's so very, very important. And
it's really important, and people don't realize how debilitating Lyme disease can be. If you get bitten and you get sick from it, you get a bacterial infection from it, and there are also viral infections that are carried in these ticks. And they can make a person very, very ill. And if it goes undiagnosed, it can lead to, very traumatic, life-threatening illnesses. It'll affect your neurological system. It can affect your heart. It can really, give you what they call Lyme arthritis, a degenerative osteoarthritis that just eats up your joints. It can be very, very debilitating to a person. And so you want to make sure that you protect yourself and your children from that. You don't want your family to get sick from being outside having fun, mowing the yard, or tending the garden.
And I'm an extremist when it comes to camping, and I always make sure that I have 2 or 3 cans of insect repellent with DEET that I carry along with me any place I go, anytime I go camping and spending time in the outdoors. Robyn, it's been so great having you on the program today. Where can folks go online to learn more about the award-winning Meadville KOA campground and how to get in touch with you if they want to make a reservation?
Well, thank you, Skip. We are online at www.meadvillekoa.com. It's that simple.
Okay. Robyn, thank you so very much for joining us here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Be sure to come back anytime you want. I'm always looking forward to talking to you, and give my best to Tim also. Hope you have a great 2016 camping season, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you, Skip, and we thank you again, and we also follow you on Facebook and Twitter, and hope the folks will tune into us on Facebook and Twitter as well. But it was great talking to you. We appreciate the invite, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Robyn.
Thank you, Skip. Have a great day.
Folks, I just love talking to Robyn. What a sweet lady. And can you imagine, folks, just what kind of fun it would be to be in the hospitality business? I mean, not just that, but also to own a campground. I know there's a lot of responsibility with that, and they've got a lot of things that they have to deal with on a daily basis, but just think about it. What kind of fun you would have if you were in Robyn's shoes, just waking up every morning, being around campers, being around people who are out there having fun. And she has the absolute perfect camping environment for anybody, any family who wants to get involved in camping. It's definitely, a site that you definitely would want to go visit from time to time. And you can better believe if I was living in Pittsburgh again, I would be visiting Robyn and Tim at the Meadville KOA campground. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Yep.
And while we're on that subject matter, why not? Yes, this week we are happy to feature the Meadville KOA campground in Meadville, Pennsylvania. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And as you heard Robyn say, their 2016 season is just about to get underway, and she was talking about some of the exciting activities that they have going on at Meadville KOA. And it's definitely, like I say, a place that you and your family would want to visit, whether you've been camping for a short period of time or been camping for maybe several years like myself. They have a lot of activities, a lot of amenities, and all you have to do is visit their website to see what they have to offer. Take a look at some of the photographs that are right there. And keep in mind, there's always something new going on at the Meadville KOA. Check out some of the local attractions in the area. If you and the family want to venture out and go do some things, you don't have to travel very far. Like we talked about, Conneaut Lake Park, very, very close by. It's a place I used to visit when I was a kid. You've got Pymatuming State Park and a lot of other local attractions in the area, so you don't really have to venture very far. But even if you don't want to go out, just get in touch with Tim and Robyn, and they will show you the time of your life, because right there at the Meadville KOA, they've got a lot going on. You can visit them online at www.meadvillekoa.com or give Robyn a call at area code 814-789-3251. I'm also going to have a link on our homepage, happycamperradio.com, all week long. just click on it. It's on the right-hand side of the homepage in the featured campground section. Just click on that tab, and it'll take you right there to their website. It's a beautiful place to go camping, wonderful hospitality. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else if I was in the Northeast. Visit them sometime this year, the Meadville KOA, the award-winning Meadville KOA. It's our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And, of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and be sure you include a link to the campground website. Well, I'd like to take an opportunity to say thank you again to Robyn and Tim of the Meadville KOA for being on the program today. And we have got some more exciting camping news coming up ahead in 2016, so definitely stick around for that. Remember, folks, every pet deserves a loving home. Do like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+. And now subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And no question about it, my friends, I'm going to do my very best to make a happy camper out of you. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one, everybody. This is Happy Camper Radio.